Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Bean, and today we're going to go through my recent reads. Now, these are the books that I read throughout the majority of August and into the first week of September. I am filming this a little bit early, so I will probably have finished at least one more book by the time this goes up, simply due to the fact that I am spending this weekend out of town. I have a wedding that I'm going to, so I'm actually filming this on Wednesday night, and it's like 8 o'clock at night right now, so I got all the lights on. So this wrap up is going to consist of 12 books that I have read, so grab yourself a beverage, and a snack is always good, and let's get started. The first book that I'm going to talk about today is My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing. I ended up giving this book a 3.5 out of 5. I did read it fairly quickly. This follows a married couple who basically kill people together, as it's kind of a way of saving their marriage. At one point, the husband actually, who is narrating the story, he finds himself involved in the questioning of one of their victims, whom he thought was dead. And then it turns out that his wife had kept her alive in some abandoned building for over a year. And suddenly secrets start to emerge, and they're basically trying to seduce each other through these murders, and things start getting out of control. And it is a very intense thriller. I guess maybe I watched too many crime shows because I kind of knew what was going to happen. I had a pretty sharp inkling as to where the story was going, and I was right for the most part. And basically all of the action in this book was the last 50 to 75 pages, and this is over 300 pages, so it just kind of dragged a little bit, I guess, at the beginning. It talked a lot about their home life, but I don't know, I was kind of underwhelmed by this book. The next book that I read was Bloodleaf by Crystal Smith. This was our book of the month for the month of August, and now I did read this one a little late, like I have been doing that lately. This is the first book in a new series. We did post a talk about this if you're interested in some of our thoughts on it, and I will link that down below or up in the corner if I can figure out how to do that. This was it was an enjoyable read. However, I honestly just have to say that I felt that this was rushed, and I really thought that the characters were very underdeveloped, and I wish that there weren't so many jumps in the understanding. Like at one point, our main character was just figuring out her magic, and then she moves to a new town, and all of a sudden she knows everything. So I guess parts of it didn't really make sense to me, and other parts of it really worked. So I ended up giving this one a 3 out of 5. The next book that I'm going to talk about is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This is actually, surprisingly, the first Christina Lauren book that I have read, and I have a feeling that whenever I am in the mood for a fluffy romance, I will go to them, because this was an amazing book. This is probably one of the cutest romance books that I have read in a very long time. And since I don't read a lot of them, I'm not overwhelmed by the hate to love trope that goes on in this story. And this is about as hate to love as you can get. This book was a home run all the way through. I loved the characters, I loved the plot, I loved the setting, and I loved the romance, which I almost never do. I really, really enjoyed this one. So this book follows our main character, Olive, as she suffers through her twin sister's perfect wedding. However, at the end of the wedding, it turns out that everyone has gotten food poisoning except for her and the best man, who happens to be her arch rival. Now, her and Ethan are then offered up the honeymoon of their dreams, because it is non-refundable and her sister wants her to use it. So they end up going down to Maui and spending their vacation there. But what they don't realize is that they are stuck in the honeymoon suite, and let's just say hijinks ensue from there. I highly recommend this book. It was so cute. It was so much fun. This one got a 4.5 out of 5 from me. The next book actually was an audiobook that I listened to, and that was A Grown-Up Guide to Dinosaurs. This is an Audible original by Ben Garrod, if you believe what Goodreads is saying. So This is a nonfiction book, and what this is basically rekindling the love that my generation would have had for dinosaurs. It goes through several different facts that I guess I never had thought about, and it's a very good read. It's a quick, very short nonfiction book that I highly recommend, especially if you were a dinosaur fan as a child. Like I was. I love dinosaurs. The first job I ever wanted was to be a paleontologist, and even to this day, I still go back thinking, maybe I should go do that. I kind of like that. The next book that I'm going to talk about is The Lost Symbol by Dan Brown. This is the third book in the Robert Langdon series, and overall, I gave this a 3 out of 5. This was underwhelming for me, and mostly because I'm noticing that all of these books have the exact same plot line. Now, that's really disappointing to me. The information is different, yes, but I'm not surprised by anything. I'm really kind of upset about that, and I might read the next one. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. I do own Inferno, so I might just read that one because I have it, and just to read it and see what I think. But I'm definitely going to end up unhauling this because I'm just very disappointed in the fact that all the plots have been the exact same thing. WTF, mate. All right, moving on from that disappointment, I read 2 books next that I absolutely loved. The first one was Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Seanan McGuire, followed by Beneath the Sugar Sky by Seanan McGuire. Now, these are books 2 and 3 in the Wayward children's series. In Down Among the Sticks and Bones, we follow the twins, Jack and Jill, as we learn their sort of background, where they came from, why they are the way they are, and it kind of explains some things that happened in Every Heart a Doorway. So I'm not going to say too much about it because it is a sequel book, although it is technically also a prequel. Beneath the Sugar Sky is the third installment in this series, and it is actually a sequel to the first one. And this one follows the future child of one of the people that we meet in the first book. It's all time travel-y stuff, and basically she's trying to find her mom. I highly recommend this series. This is definitely one of my favorites so far this year. I have 1 book left in what is out currently, and then I have to wait till January, and I'm really bummed about that. So, we'll see how it goes. In case you couldn't tell, I did give these both 5 out of 5. This next one. The next book I'm going to talk about is The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen. This is the first book in a series called The Merciful Crow, and I wanted to like this book so much. I wanted to love this book. This book follows 3 different characters. The first one being a future chief. Her name is Fie, F-I-E. I'm not exactly sure how to say it, and she is this is the way things are. My people have always been looked down upon by everyone else. She is a crow, and now what crows are in this world is they are basically the ones that deal death to those who become sick with the plague. And so her people go around in their tribes, and they go to different cities and they get rid of the people with the plague. The second person it follows is a prince who is on the run from his family because he is one of the most powerful men in the world, but he is too immature and has no idea what's going on, and I just found him so frustrating. And the third character this follows is a bodyguard. Now, this bodyguard is the one who has left with the prince in order to protect the prince. Like I said, I really wanted to enjoy this book, but I found myself really kind of bored, in all honesty. As far as the characters go, Fie is a very strong-willed character. I really appreciate the determination that she had in her efforts to help her cast, and how she didn't blindly go in and trust everybody who promised her anything. She knew better than that. And she is definitely a firecracker of a character, so I do appreciate her. That being said, I do feel as though she has so much of a chip on her shoulder that it caused her to ignore the rest of the world and what was actually going on and what people were actually trying to tell her. I think she missed out on things a lot throughout this story, and I think it would have been more entertaining if she had been a little bit smarter about things. The prince, I honestly didn't even remember his name half the time. He was a kind of a useless character, in all honesty. He is a firebird and he didn't do shit. Sorry, but he didn't. I found him to be very annoying in this book, and part of me thinks that might be because it's told from Fi's point of view and she finds him annoying. So that was well done, I guess. I don't know. I didn't care if he went back or not because he was obnoxious, in my opinion. And Tavin, the bodyguard. I mean, basically that of an older brother rather than an actual bodyguard. I got him as he was very patient, and then all of a sudden, dude, shut up to the prince. So I don't know. I wasn't surprised by the twist at the end. I did appreciate the whole caste system that they had set up in here. Basically everything revolves around basically everything revolves around where you are born as far as your status goes, and those are attributed to different types of birds, which also equates your power, which I thought that was kind of cool and pretty original. But the rest of the story, I knew what was going to happen, and I'm kind of disappointed about that. Not gonna lie. 2.5 out of 5 for me. The next book I read needs no introduction. I read Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. This is the Hufflepuff edition, which matches me. And I love this edition. If you haven't read Harry Potter, where the heck have you been? Our group read of this book should be up, and I will try to link that either up in the corner or down below, so that way you can get to it. I'm not going to go too much into this. 5 out of 5. I always love this book whenever I read it. Come on in.
Hello.
Hello.
Didn't want to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. I heard you coming. Okay, we're back now. The next book was my second nonfiction of the month, and that was Willie, the True Story of the Quest to Revive One of History's Most Iconic Extinct Creatures by Ben Mezrich. Now, this is basically science fiction meets reality, where a group of geneticists and scientists get together and they start a plan to revive the woolly mammoth. And this goes through the entire process that they have and what they're going through, and it's actually really quite interesting. I found myself fascinated by this book, and the science behind it is so detailed and so deep. It was very interesting. I gave this a 5 out of 5. The next book that I read was Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell and Faith Erin Hicks. This book is so cute. I mean, look at this art. It's so cute. It is a graphic novel, and it follows two best friends who work at a pumpkin patch every summer or every fall. So they start in September, and they're best friends basically just seasonally. So whenever they're working at this pumpkin patch, they're best friends. In this story, it is Halloween night, so it is the last night that they will be working together. It is their senior year of high school, so they will be done after this. And Deja, our female here, is dead set for this year. She is going to make her friend Josie talk to his longtime crush. And hijinks ensue as they find themselves basically going on this little adventure around the entire pumpkin patch and every different stand that's there as they attempt to find his crush. And there is a bit of romance, but it's such a fun book, and I really enjoyed this. It was a pick-me-up. It was very cute, and I highly recommend it. I did give this one a 5 out of 5. The next two books that I read are actually manga, and so I'm going to show them to you in a pair, and that is Livingstone Volume 1 and Volume 2. Now, this is a manga that I have just started. This story follows our two main characters, Sakuri and Akino, who are basically soul collectors. They are in our world, and they are sent around to collect the souls of those who have gone astray from their soul path. The twist that I found in the story is that Akinu, who is the collector, he has no soul himself. So it makes for a very interesting dynamic between the two. Think Dean and Sam when Sam loses his soul. I've been trying to get more into different manga that I haven't read or that I haven't heard a lot about. That's how I've discovered a bunch of different things that interest me, and these have definitely caught my interest, and I'm hoping that there will be more. Both of these I ended up giving 4 out of 5. I was a little bit confused at first, but I definitely could see how this would play out in an anime or in a play. So I just looked it up, and there are 2 more volumes of this manga, so I will probably have to get my hands on those quite soon. Alright, so that's what I have to show you for today. As far as what I am currently reading, I am about a quarter of the way or so through Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie. This is book number 17 in the Hercule Poirot series. I went on a bit of a hiatus from Agatha Christie for the month of August and only read 1 book throughout the month, which would have been in my last wrap-up. And so I'm moving on, and this is actually one that I've heard quite a bit about. And so far, I am really enjoying it. I'm going to put an actual cover right here because this is just the collector's edition cover. But if you enjoy what you saw here today, feel free to like and subscribe. We post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And if you want to be reminded, you can feel free to hit that little bell icon down below. Feel free to talk to us in the comments as well. We love to hear what you guys are reading and any recommendations you might have. Our Instagram handles, both all individual and our YouTube one, is down below, along with all of our individual Goodreads. We spend way too much time on all of those, and that way you can kind of keep up with what we're doing. So if you have anything to say, please post it down below, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!